Hello, Augies Worldwide. I'm Dave Casler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, and your place to go to get answers about ham radio. I also write the Ask Dave column in QST. You can send questions to me to AskDave, all one word, at arrl.org. Now, one of the nice things about sending the questions via email is you can also attach pictures or diagrams or whatever you want to put in there, and they come right here to this computer. So I also would like to say a thank you to all of those who support this channel in many ways. First of all, by sending in the questions for me to answer. I don't make them up. And also those who support this channel financially, my patrons, channel members, those who support it via subscription on PayPal, those who throw a tip in the tip jar occasionally. All of that makes this possible. Also helps me pay for the salary for the guy who's right behind this camera here. So thank you so much. Now, what we're going to do today is look at a radio. This is from Tidradio, and it's the TD-H9. Now, the TD-H3 has been a very popular one, okay? And now this is the next one out. Now, I don't know why they went from 3 to 9. Why not a 4? But, well, 4 is considered bad luck in China. 4 is China's equivalent of 13 to the Americas, okay? You know, there are even some buildings that don't have a 13th floor. You just go straight from 12 to 14. But in China, it's the number 4. It's the unlucky number. Now, there is an FCC number for this, 2A4FB-H9, but it is not valid. I've looked on the FCC website. So apparently they haven't gotten the paperwork through. They're actually not supposed to be selling these until they get that, but they're there, and a lot of people have done them. Let's take a look at what we get. We get a cardboard box, okay, like this, and it's got some stuff on the back. It says Tidradio. All right, there's nothing that gives a serial number or anything. The model number of the radio is in this rather excellent little user guide right here. And they've got stuff in here for PC programming. You can do it from your phone with OD Master. Web, you can actually look at what's in the channel contents with that. They fixed it up so you can do it directly on the keypad. What you do is you put it in VFO mode. Okay, there's your VFO memory key right there. And then what you do is write that to a channel. Okay, so you can write everything to the channel. It is, of course, still easier to do it than to do it online. Now, one of the things that you have to note when you turn this on, you get a color screen, okay? And the batteries are full on this. You can see everything there. This is absolutely invisible in sunlight. I've even put my hand over it and look like this. You can't see it if there's bright sunshine, so you'll need to take it into the shade to see. Now, this is a dual band radio. You can get both keys up here. It says at one point in the manual it works on 1.25 centimeters, but that is not the case. Now, I've made a lot of notes. Okay, let's first of all see what comes with the radio. There's your belt clip. Here is the charging and connecting to the computer cord. Notice that I've labeled everything here. And they do send you the little charger thing. Now, this is a bigger move we've seen in ham radio for the handhelds to go to 5 volts. Because that's, if you plug it into your computer, it will also charge the radio. These little bands right here are kind of interesting. You'll notice that the antenna has a band at the base. Okay? So you can change that for one of these others. So like, let's say you and your kid each have one of these. Yours can be the one with the orange, and the kid's will be the one with the blue. Okay, so you can tell them apart easily. Now, the way the battery comes off, it's a little bit weird. Use a little tool, and the battery just comes right off. Now, notice that on the radio, the only place that it says TD-H9 is in the back. Okay? Doesn't say that anywhere on the front. Okay, and this is the lithium-ion battery pack, and it's 7.4 volts DC. Now, actually, when it's fully charged, it's 18.4 volts DC. All right, and the capacity of this is 2.4 amp hours, And then when you multiply that by the 7.4, you get the 17.76 watt hours in there. Okay, so it is a lithium battery. This is not a lithium iron phosphate battery. So, be careful when you charge and so on. Now, it's got the connections on the back to put in a desk mount, but it doesn't include one. That is because if you plug this into the bottom of the battery right here, okay, that's how you charge the battery. If you plug that into over here instead, now you're set up so that you can do the programming, okay? So 2 USB connectors. This right here is the standard connector for the Kenwood. However, my red cable, which I use for programming like this, does not work there. You need to use the USB cable. This is for a speaker mic. This is where you plug in a speaker mic or an earphone, which did not come with this thing right here. Okay, now you use the BT to connect to Bluetooth. So if you want to connect to Bluetooth, see the thing right there, you can do that on your phone. Okay, we'll open OD Master. Okay, now connect Bluetooth. We're going to turn Bluetooth on. Okay, you see the little Bluetooth. And we'll connect Bluetooth, and there it is. That's the device that we want. We'll turn that device on. Okay, now it's already picked the model. We can read what's in there. Okay, now we can read from it. And you can see that it's reading, and you get the same reading over here so that you see where it is. Now, it's got a lot of memories, like 1,000 memories or so. So this gives you channel 1. You can pick channels here. The green ones have something in them. The red ones do not, but we're in channel 1. So it gives us the actual receive frequency right here. Whether you use frequency hopping is spread spectrum. You can do that on 440, but not on 2 meters. You have to use 1.25 meters or above. Okay, the way to decode power transmitter, you can go low, medium, and high. Okay, now they say this is a 10-watt radio. That's sure not what I found. It was lower than that. Okay, and you can do, we use the wideband rather than the narrow band FM for most repeater output here. The PTT idea name scramble has to be off because that is encryption. Okay, you can give a name to this channel if you want. You can also add in here a repeater transmitter list. Now, if you go over to the functions, you've got A band and B band, which are the 2 bands. You can make them 2 meters or 70 centimeters. If you want to listen to FM, they're FM radio. This is commercial FM radio right here. I'm not going to forbid receive. You can actually put your FM in there, save your favorite stations. Now, it is set up that if something comes in over the channel you're listening to, it will override the FM. All right, light control, we've got set for continuous because you're not going to be able to see anything on that screen when that goes off. If you're going to keep this thing with you, that will use a little bit of the power. Let's go. Squelch level, just leave alone. Voice prompt, you can have on if you want or off. Language, we want English. Timeout timer will cut you off after a certain amount of time, and it'll beep at you or do something. Power saving mode, scanning, you can do scanning. CO is carrier on. So if the carrier's on, you'll hear it. You've got other choices in there. Okay, priority transmit, how you do the LCDs, auto, whether it locks itself, the Roger beep, all kinds of things. And this tells you what the different keys do. This right here is programmable function 1, programmable function 2, and they don't say 3, they say top. That orange light is the 3rd button. Okay, so short key PF1 is supposed to turn on that light. Okay, the voice operated, don't use Vox with these radios because they'll come on too often. And there's lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of other things that you can do. Now, I set it up so that when I turn it on, I get KE0OG, welcome, TD-H9, okay? And these are for other ways that you can do tones. This one right here, the DTMF right here. Oh, these are codes that you can send, like phone numbers, but there is a tone on the channel right here. If you want to encode on transmit for a tone, you turn that on, pick the tone that you want. 100 and 107.2 are really popular, okay? So if you need that for a repeater, all right? So there are things that you can do with the phone. You can also do an OD master on the website, and then you program this back into the radio, right down there. Now, one of the things to note about write is that it writes the entire code plug. It does not update the just one thing that you updated here. It's the entire code plug that is put back in. So now if I were to change something in here and try to write it into here, it would write over any other change that you've made unless you kept that and wrote it earlier. Say, okay, so that's the phone. All right, now I'm going to go down my list. Teagan has the T3, right?
TD-H9.
TD-H9, okay, which is basically this radio, although this has some additional features. Now let's go down through the menu. Now you've got radio settings. You can program channels. You can set up your analog. There's no digital on this. This has still got a lot of information. Radio info, setting up your scanning, the Bluetooth. You can do SMS messages via APRS. There is GNSS, which is the Global Navigation Systems, like GPS. This will receive GPS, and you can set it up in different ways to transmit it to other radios. Site type, whether you're going for a repeater at the APRS that you can set up. You want to set that up in a number of ways. Let's just go into some of these. So if we hit that right there and do an OK. Now the OK and exit have nothing to do with these. They're down here. So we'll do OK. On that, we've got squelch level, step frequency down, and so on, timeout. You saw a lot of these on the radio. Let's go back to dual watch. Okay, this is your enter key right here, and that is turned on. Okay, and you can go back one through the exit, and you can see all the other things that you can program, which looked an awful lot like what you could program from your phone. There are a few extra little things. The FM interrupt is what I was telling you about. We go in there, it is on, which means if you get a signal, it'll interrupt the commercial FM broadcast station you're listening to and give you the ham radio, okay? So we're going to exit from that. And you've got all kinds of menus. You can look all of these up in, and by the way, this is the factory reset, the different kinds of things here, mic gain, so on. It just goes on forever, all right? Okay, let's go back here and we'll exit that. Now we go into a programming of a channel right here. You can put the subaudible tones in there. Okay, busy lock call code, so on. And memory channel, you can put it into a memory if you want. Okay, and a lot of stuff you can set up there. Let's go back. Now let's go to analog set. And what you see is the frequency calibration or the AM volume level. This will receive aircraft frequencies. It will not transmit on them, but it will set up aircraft frequency. That's the only part of this thing that is AM. Okay, let's go back to that menu. Go down to radio info. Okay. You've got radio info and APRS info. Let's go into this one. This is the radio ID, which is 123, the radio alias, TD-H9, and we go down, there's more. Firmware version. You can update the firmware on this. This is the hardware version, which of course you can't update. This is 1.0.1, it's very, very early. The work mode is amateur radio. If you were to enter that, it's not going to change it for you. I believe there is a little setting that you can sneak into here to turn this into GMRS, but it is designed for ham radio. Now let's go to APRS info. APRS call, I've got KE0OG-9. I tried looking up what the dash numbers are supposed to be, and I get a bunch of conflicting information. The firmware version for the APRS, hardware version for the APRS. Okay, so the APRS call is very important. Okay, let's go back and back. And now let's go down to scan. These are different ways you can scan, turning the Bluetooth on or off. SMS stands for the messaging service that is on every phone. You can send messages. Okay, let's go take a look at it. Now, you've got turn it on or off. You can send a message if you want by going here, going into here, to, and the content. Okay, now there is a way to send an email through APRS. Now let's go down to the SMS mode. There are two things that are important here. Either via RF to somebody who's going to pick it up, or what I would recommend, APRS. Okay, you can send it. There is a messaging mode in APRS, and there is a way with that you can actually send it on to anybody via email. So that's something that you can do there. I'll let you work with that a little bit more. Okay, now let's go back and go down. GNSS. So we're going to click OK here. GPS on or off? It's off. Okay, turn it on. Now, I will tell you that it takes a while to come on because it's got to find the GPS satellites. This is best done outside where you can get a good GPS signal. We'll select that. Okay, now we exit from there. Now, this next one will tell you what the GPS info is. And it says the antenna is okay, but no fix. Now, you have to keep scrolling down to get longitude, latitude, and date, and time will all come into this thing, and your altitude. Now, altitude, with commercial-grade GPS, you don't get a really good altitude fix. It can be within a couple hundred feet. You've got to have the military stuff to do that. So let's keep going down position. Now, this menu, degrees, that means decimal degrees. It's 108 point, da, 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 da. Or you can do it degrees and decimal minutes, or you can do it degrees, minutes, and decimal seconds. Okay, so we'll come back from this. You can put your time zone in here. Menu. Now, we happen to be in a UTC -7. So we'll go back. Time zone. Speed unit. Now, the speed unit is going to be kilometers per hour, knots, or MPT, which I believe is miles per hour. It says per time T. Okay. Now we keep going down. Distance unit, kilometers. C would be nautical, miles or knots. Distance unit isn't in knots. It's meters, I believe. But we're going to use miles here. Okay, and we'll go down. Alternative units. If you want, if you're at a fixed location, you can type in your fixed location. It's just easier to use the GPS. Okay, so let's go back up from this. We go down here, site type, and we're going to do a menu, fixed coordinates or GPS coordinates. I'm doing GPS coordinates, okay? And we go down, and here's APRS. We'll pick that. APRS switch on or off, okay? And then your beacon list. Now let's do an advanced setup here. This is your receive and transmit either channel, or you can do, I believe, if I pick this, channel A, channel B, you have to set the channel for, you have to put that up. So you press on that, channel A, and then you've got to set the channels for that to get it on. Different countries have different sites. So now let's go back to the menu, see what we skipped. Let's just go back this way. APRS is the last one. Okay? Now, I want to go through notes that I have taken, a lot of which we will have already figured out. This uses a clip at the bottom of the radio, and you're going to need a little screwdriver or something to grab that right there. It should come off by itself, but don't break your fingernail on that. Okay, use something else to pull that down, to pull the battery off. There's no reason to pull the battery off, but you can. Okay, dual band, FM only, no digital. It's dual watch. Okay, 70-page manual. Page 1 is actually page 5 if you pull down the PDF of this. Okay, the main features page includes the 1.25 meter band. Okay, it has a transmitting and receiving range of 220 to 260, but it says it right there, but it doesn't do it. It only does 2 meters and 70 centimeters, 200 memory channels. I said 1,000 earlier, it's 200. It does not have 220. There's an aircraft band. You can pick up also the NOAA weather channels, and those are programmed in. You can pick up the one for that. You can pick up commercial AM. Push to talk plus the 2 side keys are programmable, as well as the orange button on top. It's a color screen, but you cannot see anything unless it is backlit, and out in the sunlight does not work. You have right on the front of the panel, the A-B switches between channels. Okay.
Welcome.
Okay. So Bluetooth turns Bluetooth on and off. A-B gets you between your 2 channels, okay? They're right here, 1 and 2. And then you can go
channel mode.
Into channel mode. The 162s are the weather channels, okay?
Frequency mode.
You can go back in there. You can directly input a frequency there. Okay, that's very nice. Kenwood style accessory jack, Bluetooth programming is a key feature. There is no charging stand because the plug goes directly into the bottom of the battery, as I've shown. There's 5-volt adapter provided. The antenna has the male base. Now, Chinese manufacturers have not standardized. This has the male base because it surrounds this. This is the female, which has got the point in there. Notice that this is different from Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi does not follow the male-female conventions of Wi-Fi. It follows the standard conventions. Okay. Radio S females, when these were originally came out, there was concern expressed about the fragility of the center pin, but I've never heard of any issues with that. So APRS, GNSS picks up GPS and GLONASS and other things, okay? The power settings, I'm going to give you different power settings later because these were too early. 25 FM commercial channels, which is more than you need. I did update the firmware. I did not, the red cable, which uses the Kenwood connectors, did not work. It uses different software and succeeded with the Type-C cable plugged into the side of the radio. I used the software from Tidradio. Now let's take a look and see as of this moment whether Chirp covers it yet. We're going to go to Chirp Dan Planet, there we go. Okay, let's look at this under Tidradio H9. They've not yet added it on Chirp, but will at some point. But you can use the Tidradio software in the meantime. And I was able easily, successfully, to succeed uploading the firmware. GPS won't receive in the house. Outside, it got an accurate fix. Simply cannot be read in bright sunlight. Also, the default screen timeout is simply way too short. I think I'd leave it on all the time. APRS, it's a bit of work to set up. Star is delete. Hash switches to numbers. And caps to numbers to lowercase to caps. Okay, this is telling you about the hash line. When you're trying to set up something, hit the hash to switch from letters to numbers. This is when you're setting up your APRS or sending a message. Caps to numbers to lowercase to caps. Okay, caps to numbers to lowercase. So it starts out in caps. Press that once, that will go into numbers. Press that again to lowercase, and then again gets you the caps. Pressing 7 brings up the spectrum. I don't know. That's one on APRS. Tidradio CPS excludes features such as APRS. In other words, the stuff we did on the phone does not include setting up APRS. I did get the APRS out to work. It shows up on aprs.fi, not .com, not .eu. APRS FI is Finland. That's where that site is. Okay, updated power numbers using a VHF capable dummy load, which is this. This replaces my old dummy load. My old dummy load was no good above about 30 megahertz. This now goes all the way up DC to 520 megahertz, 50 ohm. Okay, it's from Chelegans. It's a J load. All right, this will handle up to 200 watts. I would get that thing mighty hot with 200 watts. I'll do it briefly, okay? So, 2 meter high power, 6 watts, low, 2 watts, medium, 5 watts. 70 centimeter high, 6 watts, low, a little over 1 watt, and medium, a little under 3 watts. Okay? The CPS does not cover all the features. I think that's an issue that needs to be fixed. GPS info, altitude measure says feet, but actually what it read was meters. Okay? I'm not at 2,000 feet. I'm at 7,000 feet. SMS requires the dual watch off, and I talked about those bands that you can put around the antenna, so if you've got 2 or 3 of these, you can tell which one is yours. So there you have it, a nice look at the new, coming out soon, it's just brand new, Tidradio TD-H9. We found it on Amazon earlier. Okay, it depends on how you buy it. You've got GPS, GMRS. We want the Tidradio ham. Okay, GPS and ham radio. Here's the ham radio, where you get one, you can program it on your phone. You've got the battery, these little cables and cords. It looks like it does come with an earphone and does come with the charger stand. Okay, it's $75.99. I'll tell you what, for the number of features that this thing has, this is a keeper, because it does all of these different things you can set up with your friends. You've got all these things. You go hiking, you can get your GPS info. You can actually send that info via APRS if you want to, say, your family, which looks on aprs.fi. Or you can set this up to send it to another person, and it will show your location, and it will show the direction that you are from where you have sent it in, okay? So this radio is a keeper. You cannot get this number of features on a Japanese radio for anything near this price, okay? Now, it does not do digital, it does not do DMR. I seem to have noticed a bit of a trend with the Chinese manufacturers to not include DMR in everything. It must not be that popular. I don't know. I don't use it. The closest DMR repeater is 100 miles north of here up in Grand Junction. There's supposed to be one over on Log Hill, but I can't reach it. There's a little bump of a mountain in the way. So there you have it. Do I recommend it? Yes, I do. It's a nice little radio. Note that, again, it's not yet available on Chirp, and the FCC ID number does not yet show up on the FCC website. Things that I think will change with time. But they're available. They're available now. They sell them as commercial or GMRS or ham, and I don't know the code to turn it to GMRS, but it's got to be there somewhere. Okay, so there you have it. And thank you again to all my patrons and those who help the channel. Do send me a question at askdave@arrl.org, and we'll try and get that answered either quickly, directly with a sentence or two, or in a video like this, or in the Ask Dave column in QST. Until we next meet, 73.